Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Rob. I'm going to show you how to rank in SEO, how to actually do search engine optimization. And out of this, we have a number of clients that we do this for, but mainly, I'd love it if you'd reach out at feedbackwrench.com and let me know that you're interested in doing this. This is also a resource for all the people that we meet every day and talk to every day to help you understand how we collaborate when it comes to content. So if you want to rank higher in search engines, if you like the idea of collaborating for content, which you'll understand a little bit more in just a second here, please go to feedbackwrench.com and just reach out, contact us, and we will find ways to collaborate to help with content creation and ultimately help you rank better in SEO, even if you don't want to be a customer. We have liaisons and relationships with tons of small businesses, and our whole purpose is to help small businesses maximize their profits. We exist to help make the web your best employee. We actually do that, but then also this is a calling for me. I own this little shop. We got a full-time designer, full-time video guy. We've got a full-time admin and a small writing team. And what we want to do is help move the needle in the direction of entrepreneurship and small business owners. So whether you're a video guy that has his own video production company, that's kind of what induced me to make this video real quick, or if you are trying to get started in an HVAC industry, or even if you're a more developed company in whether it's construction, remodeling, building, if you're in the financial services industry, this is relevant to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you what search engine optimization is all about, and I want to be really swift here. So here's the deal. Google and Bing are the two dominant search engines out there, right? And the idea is people ask it questions all the time. So business accountants near me or small business accountants near me, it might be, and I know we've done the homework, CPA near me. Those are all super relevant super relevant returns. And what you're going to see, this is called a search engine result page. So again, let's just say we said furnace repair near me. I'm using Google, and let's just break this down a little bit. There's a couple sections of what this is called a search engine result page. On the top here, this is actually a Google Home Services or Google Guarantee, which is only available in certain industries. You'll be able to take your Google reviews, put them up here, but you pay per lead. In fact, if I were to click on this and go in, it doesn't even go to the website. It's just going to go to their Google Home Services. This is not every industry. If your industry is subject to this, it's important to participate. Then you're going to have your traditional Google ads. You have the top number 1 rating, the number 2. Now we specialize in doing paid search advertising. Underneath that, what you're going to see is what's called your Google My Business. Now every single query that has to do with a local business. So if you're a local HVAC guy, remodeler, or even a CPA, there's a series of local keywords. And we're going to get into that a little bit more, but let's just keep moving, right? So you have your Google My Business. Here's what I'll tell you is proximity, how close you are to somebody, has a ton to do with who's going to show up there, but there's this combination of proximity to the searcher, as well as how dominant your site is or how authoritative your website is. And those are the things, along with how many reviews you have, that will dictate who actually shows up here. Because if we click View All, what you'll notice is there's a ton of different people. In fact, we even have ads here. I specialize in doing that for small businesses. So again, we have, this is unique to the HVAC industry, Google Ads, and that was the home services. Google Ads, Google My Business. You have some rich snippets or some FAQs. How much does it cost for a furnace? It goes to Home Advisor. Then underneath here, you're going to see Angie's List, Yelp, Home Advisor, and then one local solution here, which is LaSalle Heating. And most of you know, or most of you want to rank for keywords like that. So let's just dive into how do you actually do this? What it's going to come down to is I'm going to use some analogies, and at the very end, I've got a core key takeaway, and we want to be involved in your core key takeaway. We want to partner with you to help create content. I have scores of websites that we actually proactively write content. In fact, we do phone interviews and videos locally here on subject matter and plan out content that eventually plays into search engine optimization. Now, you probably don't know what I'm talking about right now, but if you're interested at all in collaborating and helping create content and becoming part of this collaboration network that we've been building, particularly for CPAs and construction folks, please go to feedbackwrench.com. We want to partner with people that kind of have character, chemistry, and competence. That's how I make my decision of who is a good fit. But here's what I want you to know. When you look at a website, or you just think of what a search engine is, right? So Google and Bing, whenever they're making a decision of who do we serve up here, you have all this paid stuff, but let's just bring it up another level, right? Google's kind of like a dad, and their search customer, the person asking the query to Google, is kind of like their daughter. I'm a dad of 3 daughters, and I love them. I protect them jealously. And Google does the same thing. Now, what Google has to do and wants to do is serve up the most relevant, authoritative, trustworthy, and expertise solution to whatever query it is. So what happens is when one of their search customers searches that, it has indexed and takes notice of all of the different options that it has, and then it synthesizes through hundreds of different factors which it should serve up. So the goal when it comes to search engine optimization is to become the type of website that Google would want to serve up for what's called your core commercial keywords. Your core commercial keywords are going to be kind of your bottom of funnel, which means that they are the core keyword. Furnace repair, air conditioning repair, new air conditioning installation, or in CPA you have accountant, bookkeeping service, payroll service. Those core commercial keywords, they're like the core services that would be on like your menu if you were a restaurant, right? You might have breakfast, dinner, and lunch, but for you it might be air conditioning, furnaces, repair, and installation, right? So what happens here is, in order for you to be the kind of company that shows up here, really what you have to do is you have to focus on your Google My Business, but then also your website, because Google My Business takes its cues from your website. So here's what you have to do. What Google does is, gone are the days where you have to just keyword stuff your content or your website. There's a couple of things that you can do that will actually impact your factors or how you can actually rank. But let me show you an article here by Moz. And this is called the Moz SEO Search Ranking Factors. They do a quiz or a survey of the entire industry out there. And what they ask are, what are the things that actually, what actually drives good SEO? And what you're going to find is that the primary thing is whether or not your site has authoritative or trustworthy factors, right? Well, you have your reviews. You can do reviews. But more than that, what you can do is you can make sure that any time Google actually sends you traffic, you're going to handle it really well. So what you'll see here is there's a number of factors, and what this is a number of factors in Google's algorithm, supposedly. Now, they never actually tell us this, but the bottom line is you have domain level link features, page level link features, page level keyword and content based features. What you'll see here is almost everything that happens has to do with whether or not you have votes of confidence across the internet. The other word for that is a backlink. Just like when you were doing homework on your dissertation in college, or if you were creating a presentation in college or in high school, you had to have good sources, right? So what happens is as Google is crawling the entire internet all day, every day, and it sees that there's a hyperlink, an actual contextual link from a good quality website over to yours, it views that as a vote of confidence. Now, that vote of confidence matters dearly in how Google considers who you are. That's one of the main factors that goes into whether or not Google will trust you. And you kind of have to build up and grow your authoritativeness over time. And the idea is, when you launch a website, you need to have what's called your citations. You know, your basic citations would be that you open Google My Business, that you get a Facebook page, an Instagram page, a YouTube page. You'd open up on Bing Places. You'd go to Apple Maps. You'd launch into like Manta and some of these other sites. You might go into a Yelp profile. And then you show a pulse on all those. Google pays a little bit of attention to that. And all of those should point back and link to your site. And your site should link to all of those. And then in your website, what you'd want to have happen is like your local chambers of commerce. But let's just say you're a real estate agent. And all of a sudden, the National Association of Realtors releases a great piece of content about something relating to real estate. And then it uses your piece of content as a source. And it hyperlinks over to one of your pages. Well, what happens is Google follows that and it takes note that this site has referenced your site and says, hey, this is good. This means that Realtor.com trusts them. So essentially, all that we know is that every site kind of has this overarching, we call it a domain rating or a site authority. And all we can do is see how Google rewards it and then kind of give some numbers to it. And then if you can attract more links to your content and to your website, over time, those are votes of confidence to your website, and Google takes that pretty seriously, right? So that's one of the overarching things. Well, that's really hard to do. The second big factor that you can do is that you need to get great what's called on-page signals. And here's what that means. I'm going to move much quicker now. Imagine if somebody were to come to your website and search a number of different queries. So I've got a customer's website here, some pretty basic SEO that we do. And what this is over the last 28 days, this shows how many times each keyword was either clicked on or showed up in an impression for this exact customer. So let me show you this real quick here. So this is the duplex doctors, and what you'll see is you have duplex doctors is the number one query that they've had results for. Then you have duplex for sale Minnesota. Then you have fourplex for sale Minnesota, duplex doctors, twin home, fourplex for sale MN. How much does it cost to build a duplex? Twinplex versus duplex for, and this goes on and on and on. There's almost 1,000 different results here, and this is just in the last 28 days. Well, now what I can do, and I can show you, they've had about 1,200 clicks, quite a few impressions, and now what I can do is I can show you what each page does, because here's the deal. These are an array of different queries. It's nearly impossible to have just one page rank for all those queries. So what we've had to do is to create lots of different content that talks about these different subject matters. And over time, what happens, so their homepage has gotten 200 clicks in organic. They've had this article here, if you take a look, how much do duplexes cost? And this is an article that walks through exactly what you should expect in terms of costs for duplexes. We have another one that is just the fourplexes for sale here in the Twin Cities. In fact, there's none of them today because they've all been sold. We have duplex versus fourplex, which one is better? And all these are pages in blogs that we've created in anticipation that it's a subject matter that someone's going to want to know about. The result is that over time, two things happen. First of all, if somebody asks that question or that query, or if we were to share this on Facebook and somebody thinks it's interesting, they would click on it. But that's just one portion of the benefit of creating individual pieces of content around topics and queries. The other benefit is that as Google sees that you're handling the traffic they send you well, meaning that the time on page is good, it appears that they consume the content. It appears that they don't jump in and then jump right out. As that occurs more and more, and it sees that you handle their customers better, and as it sees that you get more and more backlinks to you, more votes of confidence across the internet, suddenly it starts to trust you with more and more content, more and more traffic from their search engine. And I would just say that Bing is almost identical. So the core of great SEO is to plan out content that is around subject matter or queries that people would actually like to talk about, and then to explain or teach or engage with them and write content that people actually want to see. That's the number one thing that you'd want to do. In fact, if I were to go to Feedbackwrench, it's kind of funny. I've learned so many lessons. This is kind of a test site almost that I have. I just removed a whole bunch of content from my site, but here's an example of a really simple. So in the last 28 days, I had 1,500 clicks on this, this silly piece of content. But what happened is I found out that, in fact, I've even forwarded it off of my website because I don't want this on Feedbackwrench. But this is a very specific Gmail and Outlook problem that pops up. And this is the explainer of how to fix that. And as you fix this is screenshots and walkthroughs of exactly how do you do that, right? I've got another simple blog post that answers, should you use multiple domains for one website? The answer is no. But as you go through it, I ask a series of different questions of it. I have headers. I have a good explainer. People sit on this page and read the entire article. It's just a very simple article. And then down here, we've got like 11 principles for getting rich. This is another one. This is based on a video that we created. But I just dove in and showed all of the different things that I've learned from the wise people around me. The result is that people come to this, they read the entire article, and as they read the article, Google sees that we handle this traffic well. And the result is our search engine optimization, or our tendency to rank in SEO or in the search engines, increases. So long story short, if you like the idea of either having somebody create content for you, or if you want to collaborate with us on the scores of other sites that we have, reach out to us. We'd love to connect and see if there's a way that we can move upward and forward together. But at the core of great SEO, it's no longer about all the games. There's certainly it's no longer about games, about getting back, like cheap backlinks or trying to cheat the system. Now what it is it's about answering great queries, creating awesome content that people would actually read rather than playing games with it. And then over time, how do we build up backlinks and people sending votes of confidence to that content? And that's where we love the little network of people that we've built up. It's not a paid thing. All we do is try and build relationships, and then we write for each other is really what it is. So reach out if that is helpful. If this helped you at all, like and subscribe. Here at Feedbackwrench, we're all about trying to help entrepreneurs move upward and forward. We have a bunch of new little packages for small startups. If you're a startup business, you just want somebody to do your homework for you, man, give us a shout. That's what we specialize in. And we just hope things go well for you. God bless.